Hello, everybody. Checking to make sure that we're live. One second here while I take care of something. Okay. Right. I'm doing things a little bit differently right now. Waiting for everybody to get into the live stream. Checking my sounds to make sure y'all can hear everything. Microphones and sounds looks good. All right. We are going to go over the news that I've collected for the day so that we can give y'all some information. I'm going to share this out real fast. And there. Do that. Share that. Hello, Rich Quick. I see you in. I've got quite a bit of stuff to go over for everybody who's watching. I have quite a bit of information to give you, so I will stop every few seconds and check the live chat. I had to do my camera up at a certain distance so that y'all can actually see me on camera because I was having problems with the lighting. So let me pull this up a little bit closer to me so that y'all can hear me talking. All right, here we go. We're going to start now. Okay, today is Saturday, February 28th, 2026. The Middle East has entered a state of full-scale regional war. Following weeks of escalating threats and a massive U.S. military buildup, the United States and Israel launched a coordinated, large-scale offensive against the Islamic regime of Iran, triggering immediate and widespread Iranian retaliation across the Persian Gulf. Early this morning, around 8:15 a.m., the U.S. and Israel initiated a joint air and military campaign. The strikes, dubbed Operation Epic Fury by the U.S. and Operation Roaring Lion by Israel, targeted over 500 sites across 28 Iranian provinces. The initial waves focused on symbols of the Iranian state in Tehran, including the Ministry of Defense, the Atomic Energy Headquarters, and the residential compound of the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The Iranian Red Crescent reports at least 201 people killed and nearly 750 wounded. There are unconfirmed reports that senior officers, including Supreme National Security Council Secretary Ali Shamkhani, were killed. The statue of 86-year-old Supreme Leader remains unconfirmed. The status of him is unconfirmed, though he is reportedly cut off from contact. Iran reported within hours by activating, they responded in hours by activating its regional retaliatory doctrine, launching waves of ballistic missiles and drones. Hundreds of projectiles were fired towards northern and central Israel, while the IDF reported 23 waves of attacks. Israel's multi-layered air defenses, Arrow, David Sling, and Iron Dome, intercepted the vast majority. Iran explicitly targeted U.S. military installations in the region, and explosions were reported at the U.S. Navy 5th Fleet Headquarters, Qatar's Al Udeid Air Force Base, and in Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, and at the UAE. Bases hosting U.S. personnel were hit, leading to widespread shelter-in-place orders for troops. Regime change rhetoric is abounding. In a statement on Truth Social, Donald Trump called the campaign a massive and ongoing operation to end the wicked dictatorship and urged the Iranian people to seize control of your destiny and overthrow the government. Global reaction from France. President Emmanuel Macron distanced France from the strikes, stating they were neither warranted nor involved, and called for urgent diplomacy. The United Nations and Emergency Security Council meeting is scheduled for 4 p.m. today. Talking about oil and logistics, global oil prices have spiked amid reports of the Strait of Hormuz. The world's most critical oil checkpoint has been closed by the IRGC. International flights across West Asia have been suspended, leaving thousands of travelers stranded in hubs like Dubai and Doha. But there is also proxy involvement. The Houthis, Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen, have officially vowed to resume attacks on the Red Sea shipping lanes and Israel effective tonight, effectively ending the ceasefire that had been in place since late 2025. Hezbollah in Lebanon, while the Lebanese government has warned Hezbollah against intervention, the group has expressed full support for Tehran, raising fears of a massive second front opening on Israel's northern border. So when we're looking at some of the casualties in Iran, there's been 201 plus dead, 747 wounded. Those areas were Khomeini's office, nuclear sites, which were Qom and Karaj, and IRGC bases. In Israel, minimal injuries from shrapnel, and that was in the northern and central civilian centers. In the UAE and Bahrain, 1 dead, Abu Dhabi, and 4 wounded in Dubai. The U.S. Fifth Fleet headquarters in Al Darfa Air Force Base were the targets that were reported hit in the UAE and Bahrain. Okay, so let me check the chat real quick. All right. Didn't see no questions yet. The reaction of the Iranian people today is complex and deeply fractured, mix of clandestine celebration, intense panic, and profound exhaustion. Because of the regime's history of brutal crackdowns, most recently in January 2026, public sentiment is divided between those who see the strikes as a terrifying escalation and those who view them as a long-awaited catalyst for change. Because, as you remember, they had been being promised help and promised freedom. So, therefore, some of these people may also see it as a long-awaited help. Despite the danger, videos have leaked out, often filmed from balconies or behind curtains, showing significant segments of the public reacting positively to the strikes on the government symbols. There is joy. Footage from Tehran shows bystanders laughing and cheering as smoke rose from the Supreme Leader's compound, with some heard referencing to it as the leader's house in a mocking tone. In several verified clips, young Iranian men were seen shouting, "I love Trump," as explosions rocked nearby IRGC facilities. There have also been reports of people dancing in the streets in certain neighborhoods, a specific act of defiance, as public dancing is criminalized sin under the current clerical law. In fact, they'd kill you for it. For the general population, the morning was defined by chaos. The strikes hit on the first day of the Iranian work week, meaning schools and offices were full. In the southern city of Manab, a strike reportedly hit a girls' elementary school. While the U.S. and Israel claimed they were targeting military infrastructure, the Iranian government reports 85 schoolgirls were killed in this single incident, fueled local fury and grief. Now, something to note about this school tragedy in Manab, apparently it was an IRGC school. So therefore, when people are saying that they were fueled by fury and grief, those 85 school girls that were killed were more than likely IRGC children. Still, it is sad when any child or person dies when they are innocent. Panicked residents in Tehran and Isfahan flooded grocery stores and gas stations, leading to massive traffic jams and shortages of basic goods within hours of the first explosion. Connectivity has dropped to roughly 85% of normal levels as the government attempts to suppress unauthorized footage of strikes and prevent protesters from organizing. Despite the calls from President Trump and exiled Prince Reza Pahlavi for people to take over your government, many Iranians are hesitant. Earlier this year, a massive protest movement was met with lethal force, resulting in an estimated 7,000 deaths or more. We have reports all the way up to 30,000. Many activists felt betrayed by the West, arguing that verbal support from the U.S. during the crackdowns did nothing to save them from the regime's bullets. Most citizens are currently following the advice of opposition leaders to stay sheltered and wait for a clear sign that the regime's security apparatus, the IRGC and the IRGC, is actually collapsing before taking to the streets again. Pro-regime students and loyalists have gathered outside Tehran's university and other landmarks, burning U.S. and Israeli flags and chanting "Death to America." So the government is attempting to project strength and unity right now by having them go outside the Tehran University and other landmarks, burning U.S. flags and Israeli flags, and chant "Death to America." The Interior Ministry has mobilized all available security forces to maintain public order, while many interpret as a preemptive move to crush any potential uprising before it starts. So it's got some crazy stuff going on. So as of midday today, the status of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is the subject of intense global speculation and conflicting reports. There is no official confirmation of his death, but the situation remains highly fluid. The reports of his death coming from different places. Israeli intelligence assessment, Israel Channel 12 reported that the IDF and intelligence officials believe there are growing signs and slim to non-existent chances that Khamenei survived. They cite the sheer scale of the precision strikes on his fortified Tehran compound. Lack of contact. Israel's Khan State TV has reported that there is no contact with the supreme leader, and he has not been seen in public since the strikes began. Iran is denying. Former minister's statement. In an interview with NBC News, Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi stated that Khomeini is alive. As far as I know, he insisted that the regime is handling the situation and that most high-ranking officials are safe. Relocation claims. Iranian government sources told Reuters that Khomeini was not even in Tehran at the time of the strikes, claiming he had been moved to a secure location, undisclosed as well, days prior. The promised speech. Iranian state media, Al-Alam TV, has repeatedly teased a forthcoming address from the supreme leader. However, Western analysts warned that any footage released may have been pre-recorded to mask its true condition. Satellite imagery. Verified images from the New York Times and Airbus show extensive destruction at the supreme leader's residence, an assembly of experts' headquarters in Tehran. Large plumes of black smoke were seen rising from the compound, confirming it was a direct target of Operation Roaring Lion. So, what happens if he's dead? According to Article 111 of the Iranian Constitution, if the supreme leader dies or is incapacitated, a temporary leadership council takes over immediately. This council consists of the president, the head of the judiciary, and a jurist from the Guardian Council. The assembly of experts must then meet to elect a permanent successor within a short time frame. With the current verdict, While the physical destruction of his headquarters is confirmed, Khamenei's death remains unverified. The world is currently waiting to see if he appears in a live, time-stamped broadcast to prove he survived the initial wave. So, we're looking at this conflict. The conflict has rapidly expanded beyond a two-party fight. As of today, Saturday, February 20th, 2026, several Middle Eastern nations are now directly or indirectly involved due to Iranian retaliatory strikes on U.S. military assets and the activation of regional proxy networks. The frontline Gulf states were directly hit. Because these countries host major U.S. military installations, they have become primary targets for Iranian missiles and drones today. The United Arab Emirates, fragments from the intercepted Iranian missiles killed one person in Abu Dhabi this morning. The UAE has condemned the blatant violation of its sovereignty and placed its military on high alert. In Bahrain, Iran specifically targeted the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters in Manama. Reports indicate significant damage to a service center within the base. And Qatar, the Al Udeid Air Force Base, which serves as a forward headquarters for the U.S. Central Command, was a major target. Qatar reported that its own air defense helped repel a number of attacks alongside U.S. Patriot batteries. In Kuwait, explosions were reported near the U.S. base hosting thousands of American troops. Kuwait has joined other Gulf states in issuing nationwide shelter-in-place orders. Let me see here. The defensive buffer for Jordan and Saudi Arabia. Jordan caught literally in the middle. Jordan's air defenses have been active all morning, intercepting Iranian projectiles headed for Israel. The Jordanian government has reiterated that it will not be a battlefield for outside powers, though it is functionally acting as a buffer for Israel. Saudi Arabia, while the kingdom has spent the last year trying to de-escalate with Iran, missiles were reported over Riyadh today. The Saudis have condemned the Iranian aggressor, but are notably refraining from joining the U.S.-Israel offensive, fearing a return to the war of the tankers in the Persian Gulf. Now, I've been seeing news as well that they had joined in with the United States. However, information that I am getting is that they are refraining. So take that as you will, but this is the news that I have. And I believe the news that I have. The axis of resistance, which is the proxies, Yemen, the Houthis have officially declared the end of their 2025 ceasefire with the U.S. and launched a wave of drones towards southern Israel and the Red Sea shipping lanes this afternoon. Iraq, Iranian-backed militias such as Kataib, Hezbollah, have launched rocket attacks on the U.S. positions in Erbil and Baghdad. Iraqi airspace is currently closed to all civilian traffic. In Lebanon, the Hezbollah, while Israel has carried out preemptive strikes on the Hezbollah rocket arrays in the Bekaa Valley, the group has not yet launched its full arsenal. Analysts suggest they are waiting for a final go signal from Tehran, likely depending on the confirmed status of Ali Khamenei. The diplomatic opposition is Turkey and Egypt. Turkey's President Erdogan has been highly critical of the strikes, calling them a threat to regional peace, and warning that a collapsed Iranian state would create unstoppable chaos. Egypt, meanwhile, President Sisi has expressed solidarity with Saudi Arabia and called for immediate ceasefire, fearing that the prolonged war will further damage the Suez Canal's revenue and regional stability. So, here's a summary of the national stances. UAE and Britain involved levels is high targets, intercepting missiles, reporting casualties from shrapnel. Jordan has a medium involvement, there the buffer zone, shooting down projectiles over its airspace. Yemen Houthis are active combatant. launch drone swarms at Israel and the Red Sea. Iraq is an active combatant. Militia strikes on U.S. bases in the north. And Qatar and Kuwait are high, and they are base hosts, sheltering U.S. troops defending airspace. Anyways, guys, that's what I have for you for today. I hope that helped y'all with some information. I have done as much research as I can today to get y'all the latest updates as they come in. It's been note-taking and note-taking. Anyways, doing everything I can to get y'all the latest information since this morning. Auntie A said this could turn nasty. Yes, it could. However, right now, Iran has actually turned most of the Middle East against it. I mean, not Iran. Well, Iran, yes. The IRGC by attacking the Middle Eastern countries. So, yes, they have kind of turned a lot of the Middle Eastern countries against them because, like, if you look at it, Qatar has been over there mediating. And with Qatar mediating, you're taking a look at the fact that they're sitting back going, why are you attacking us? You know, we've been nothing but helping you. So you have a lot of countries that have actually been trying to help quell everything that have now been attacked. So anyways, you guys, I hope that explains enough to you guys. I appreciate you being here today. If I have any more information, I will do another update and give you more information. It is now 2:11 in the afternoon. It is a Saturday. It's been a very interesting Saturday, I would like to say. I think we all should say a prayer for the people in Iran for safety. It's the people there that want their freedom, and they deserve to be free. They've been living under a heinous dictatorship, and over 40,000 people just died. So it is time for them to have their freedom. And you know, I live here in the United States, right? And I hear a lot of people saying, oh, the United States shouldn't be involved. But here's a problem. When you make a promise, you keep a promise. And if you say that you are going to stand up and help people, you keep your word. Anyways, you guys, I love you. And please remember to tell someone you love them. Tomorrow's never promised. Make each day adventure. Get outside. Call up someone that you love. Spend time with your loved ones. Anyways, you guys, I will see you all on the next live stream or video. Much love. Whoa. Oh, and thank you to my awesome moderators for being here today. Thank you.